Hey, what's up, everybody? How are we doing? How are we doing? Are we good tonight? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight's going to be a good night, everybody. Let me fix my camera real quick. I am super zoomed in. You can tell I've been making other videos. You got here just in time to see me appear. You summoned me. You summoned me. I am your Ifrit. How you doing tonight, everybody? You good? Hope you're having a great day, great night, at least, or morning, wherever, whatever you are. Yeah, let me swap over a couple of things here, as usual. Boom, oh, now we're real low. Okay. Let's bring it on down here a little bit. There we go. That's pretty good. Ah, there we are. Nice and centered. How's that, everybody? I tell you, I love starting out the stream just listening to Somnus. I love starting the night out like that. Isn't it a good vibe, everybody? Isn't it a good one? Just such a great vibe. What's up, Yarn? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let me arrange my chat here, and we are going to be so good. Okay, let's see. Now I can see the chat, and we are golden, baby. We are golden. Oh, my spring break was so good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. It was lovely. Got to spend some time with a bunch of my friends over in the great state of Georgia. Yep. Get out of that real quick. And yeah, it was just a really good time, you know? Really good time. Seeing some people. Am I bulking? That's the spring break calories, my friend. That is the spring break calories. I am not bulking. I am just getting thick. That's it. Oh my gosh. Dear God. Nothing but salads tomorrow, baby. Am I bulking? Oh, it's going to be a good night. Going to be a good night, I can tell you that right now. Dear God. But no, I'm not. But I will take the compliment. I hope it's a compliment. Oh, yeah. Okay, everybody. Let's do this, shall we? Don't you just love freaking Somnus as a tune? Don't you just love it? I know I do. I know I do. Bulking up for that Sid cosplay. You know me. You know me. That's exactly what I'm doing. Hence the beard. That's just the residue from spring break, living that spring break life. If you didn't see my Instagram or Twitter post about all the things that I got to do over spring break, I did not intend for it to be my Final Fantasy VII Rebirth reenactment spring break, but boy was it. Boy was it. But I got to ride a wheelie. I'll tell you a couple things that were not pictured in the Instagram account. So if you went to my Instagram picture or my Twitter pictures, then you saw a number of things. Number one, you saw me at the beach. You saw me on a Segway wheelie. You saw me at a parade, maybe. I was at Rufus's Junon parade. What else did I do? I did a Beat the Bomb game. Has anybody ever done Beat the Bomb? It's kind of a cool thing where you go and they specify it's not an escape room. So I'm not going to call it an escape room, but it's kind of like an escape room. But you and your team have to complete puzzles in a set amount of time, and you get like timer. You get more time on the final clock, and then you are in a room with a like a paint or a foam bomb, and that was awesome. So I did like a Mako reactor bomb thing. And then I did the bald bar, no scalp, no service. That was fun. What else did I do? Here's some things that weren't pictured that I can tell you about. While I was in the park, there were some mini games like people hula hooping and doing jump roping, and that was a neat thing to see. I found a snake, a guy holding a giant like python in his hands, and I wanted to get a picture, but it felt weird because like there were children running up and touching the snake, and he kept on going gentle, gentle, and it looked like the snake was getting a little agitated. So I decided maybe it would be a good idea for me to not be a witness to this. And so I bolted. But anyway, I wanted to take a picture and say, did Sephiroth do this? But, you know, whatever. I didn't do that. That would have been fun. I needed to reenact Cloud doing yoga. Oh, man. I should have. Honestly, I really should have. Oh, I went to a dolphin show. So there was Priscilla. That was some Priscilla stuff. That was a good time. But yeah. It was a good spring break, everybody. Let me chill out on some of the CloudBot stuff over here, because as much as we love CloudBot and what he stands for, we also just kind of want to have a little bit of peace, you know what I'm saying? So, let me check out some of that. Yeah, there we go. I know we love CloudBot. I know y'all love CloudBot. Let's see, we don't need that one anymore. We do need that one, not that one. And how about we do a little, that's kind of old school. We can take that out. Okay. And none of that. Check, check, check. Okay, that should make it chill out a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. Maybe, you know. What if we did... Oh, I have an idea, everybody. What if we did this right here? I'm trying to figure out how to reset the lost counter, everybody. What if we did... maybe that? Hey, just as a test for me, can somebody type in !lost? I'm not saying I'm going to get lost tonight, but it is a possibility. It's always a possibility, you know, always. Oh, nope, it did not reset. It did not reset. Hang on, we're going to figure this out. While we're just kind of chilling and vibing. I know, it still says 19 times. We're going to fix it, everybody. We are going to fix it. Somehow, some way. No. It's time. It's time to finally fix it. Okay, let's try reset command on Streamlabs. Oh, look at this. It's all going to be... Oh. You have to set another counter. Okay. Hang on. We can do this. We can do this, everybody. So first you do all that. And then you do that. Okay, well, it's doing terrible things right now. Let's try this. Reset. If you want to reset deaths, lost. Okay. I think I can do this. Y'all, you are getting to see me in real time struggle. But if we do this, we'll not only be changing the future and destiny, but we'll be changing ourselves, right? Do you know what I'm referencing there, chat? Surely you do. You didn't hear it? Oh no. Was that on me or was that on you? Okay, it was on you. Okay, so that you never can tell on this this stream, right? You were talking to your husband. Hey, that's great. Tell your husband I said hi. Okay, everybody, hang on. We're going to try something. We're going to see if it works. We're going to see if it works. Okay. It just said that. Okay. Okay, I'm trying things. Count lost. Okay. Oh, okay. Hang on. I think I see. I was terrible at computer programming, everybody. And that's what this kind of feels like. Okay. Why don't we try it again? Okay. I don't know, Roxy. I don't know. When I was in middle school, and this is a nice segue into our lecture tonight. This was back in the days before we had cell phones, right? And people would bring their Bibles to school. And people would oftentimes brag about who had the bigger Bible. So, how about that? That's a fun thing. Okay, let's try this. Maybe this is the moment. Okay. I think I figured it out, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. Being a computer programmer and an engineer is fun and annoying at the same time. Yeah, well, that okay. I'm testing some things. Okay, wait 1 second. It says 158? What? Where does it say that? Oh. I was like, where's 158? Okay. Starting out at 0 times a day. Okay, everybody. So now we're at 0. Guys, we did it together. I mean, I don't really know how much y'all did, but thank you for the support at least. So that was fun. Okay, with that, everybody. Let's get down to business, just like it says in Mulan. Tonight is the night. It is the big one. It's the one that we've been waiting for. It's the one that sweet Leon, who is not going to be in the chat tonight because he's had a heck of a day, but it's the one that he's been waiting on. So Leon, I know you're watching the VOD later on, and this one's for you, buddy, because tonight, we are going into Altissia. We are going into Chapter 9, one of the best chapters in the entire game. We are going into the trial of Leviathan, and I am so excited. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome. My name is Wade, aka ProfNoctis, and I'm so glad that you have chosen to be here with us on this Tuesday evening. We are going to be continuing our lecture playthrough of Final Fantasy 15. And if you are in class watching this for homework, study up, work on your Legacy of Kings project, and I hope that you have a good time as well. But if you are not in my class, then we're going to learn some new things tonight, and it's going to be a great, great, great night. We are going to be talking about kings and prophets. Kings and prophets. This is the Luna chapter, and so we are going to stop periodically so that I can explain a little bit about Luna's relevance to both the Old Testament, to Christian history, and also to ancient Near Eastern kingship narratives, because she applies to all three. It's going to be a great night. In fact, we're going to learn in tonight's stream. Here's what I promise you. You're going to learn, number one, the three roles that a prophet has in the Old Testament. They are taken straight from David Peterson's fantastic book. David Peterson was my actual professor when I was in grad school. He wrote a book called A Theological Introduction to in the Old Testament. Or to the Old Testament. He and Walter Brueggemann and two other authors as well. You can purchase that book. It is my favorite recommendation for the Old Testament. You can purchase that book from my store as an Amazon affiliate. You can support the stream in that way and get something in return. It's a really, really cool book. If you follow my link tree or go over to Amazon, my storefront, you'll be able to find that fantastic thing. I'll make sure I put it in the VOD description as well. Next, we are going to be learning about not only the roles of the prophet, but the three parts of prophetic speech tonight. So that's going to be a big one as well. And then finally, we're going to close out with the trial of Leviathan. And the trial of Leviathan, as do all of the trials in this game, they correspond with a different attribute of the divine. And we're going to talk about exactly what Leviathan's godly attribute is. These six astral gods in Final Fantasy 15 each represent a different side of the Godhead, basically. So, yeah, it's going to be good stuff tonight. It's a packed episode. We do have some newcomers in chat. Everybody, welcome. So glad that you are here. Crazy old man with white hair. We love that. That's awesome. So I see that you finished Rebirth. I have not finished Rebirth yet. In fact, I've got a new Chronicles of Rebirth coming out later this week while I'm at PAX East. But please refrain from speaking too much about Rebirth. We will have a full spoiler-filled time to discuss Rebirth at one point. But I do have to say that right off the bat, because I know people are eager to talk about it. But please, give me a little bit more time, because life has been crazy with spring break and midterms. So with that, everybody, Jeffrey, what's up and welcome. And thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much. With that, let's go ahead and dive in to Final Fantasy 15. Let's do it. Are all of my controls messed up? Because we are, yeah, okay. Where we last left off, we had just said goodbye to all of our friends, took a nice snapshot, a nice picture, a keepsake, and then we hopped onto a boat and we are heading to Altissia. Without further ado, let's begin. Oh, I still didn't change the noise, so my fault. Oh yeah, thank you, lady. Because we do have students from my class in the chat tonight. They are doing this for homework and all that stuff. Please do not talk about spoilers for 15 until we get to those points. In fact, let it play out on screen, and then we can talk about it. But that just helps our students a little bit more.
The wedding day arrives, but alas, without the bride. Of course, we've come for the Hydrian. And you've gone to such lengths to prepare.
Merely my duty.
Ah, but for an outsider to lead the Imperial army must be a battle in and of itself. You've spoken to Lady Lunafreya?
No.
That obstinate secretary, standing in the way, while you rush off to slay the Hydrian for your poor sister's sake. I know the price of the Covenant.
And so, chat, that's the first time that we've seen something about the price of the Covenant. It's kind of been alluded to, but here Arden is specifically saying this to Ravus. And he's saying to him, I know the cost of the Covenant. Now, what is the cost of the Covenant? You remember from our last couple of chats here that Lunafreya, as the Oracle, is this go-between who is bringing the gods an awakening and asking them to test Noctis. And so Titan gave a test to Noctis through this great battle, this trial, and then Rama gave a trial through provision. Can he scavenge? Can he make difficult decisions like with the Naga at the end of chapter 5? But here we begin to ask the question, what's the toll that it's taking on Lunafreya? We'll get into that in just a little bit. With that, let us continue. Over the course of this boat ride, we are going to be learning. It's kind of an exposition dump.
I've always wanted to go sailing like this.
Not many.
Thank you for the sub, lady.
Insomnia.
Out here, it's just us and the horizon. It's amazing. It's life-changing.
We've quite a ways to go until we reach Altissia, so keep gushing to your heart's content.
When we step off the boat, we'll be in a foreign country.
The anticipation alone is a foreign sensation.
Then to think this is where we were headed to begin with.
We've been through a lot.
And there's still more to come.
So next on the docket is Leviathan.
What sort of deity are we dealing with?
A serpent said to embody the roar and rage of the sea.
We'll have to see.
Enjoy
for
dinner,
ourselves.
lady.
Can't let Lady
I love the
Lunafreya
puns.
do all
We'll have to
that
see
work.
for ourselves.
You must be so psyched to see her.
So psyched.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make sure she's all right before anything else.
Indeed, her well-being is top priority.
Don't like this going down on Imperial turf.
You think Lady Lunafreya's in danger there?
The Empire did invade Lucis for the ring. I have no faith their ruthless ambitions will stop short of harming the Oracle.
Without the ring, the crystal's no more than a rock.
I suppose. Does anyone know how Lady Lunafreya came to have the ring?
It seems likely His Majesty entrusted it to her safekeeping back at the Crown
They
City.
should really watch
So she's
Kingsglaive,
held onto it this whole
because it
time,
explains that.
all the way to Altissia.
The ring is important, and so is Leviathan. But Luna comes first.
You know, I was thinking back to our encounter with Ravus. Do you recall an apparatus in place of his arm?
Yeah, I remember.
Seems he lost his old one in the invasion, but in its place, he seems to have acquired new power.
Power?
That would help explain
Power?
how a son of Tenebrae suddenly came to command
Let's zoom in.
Niflheim's army.
Now that you mention it, his strength did seem sort of supernatural. I just chalked it up to the Oracle lineage.
His ancestry may be part of it, but that alone wouldn't
This
account
wide
for his
open sea is
freakish
so
strength.
cool,
I
right?
wonder what could have happened to him.
There's a disturbing rumor about Lord Ravus has taken to brandishing His Majesty's sword.
My dad's.
Then what's the big idea behind that?
Oh, there's the Rock of
Powers
Ravito over
the
there.
Power of kings?
I cannot say for sure, but
Oh.
I have my doubts. Ravus wears the sword, yet doesn't wield it.
For all his newfound powers, he's still the Chancellor's lapdog, holding on to the enemy king's sword like some badge of honor.
It might help if we knew what he was after.
Who can say?
What are the odds the Empire will crash the pool party with Leviathan?
Consider it a guarantee. They fell.
Hey,
but
dude,
God
what's up?
prevented
Hey,
not
fake.
From receiving his blessing.
Pear Bear.
Do so again.
But we beat him to the big guy. Thanks to our friendly guide.
What's going on, y'all?
Which way that one's gonna move next?
The Chancellor has an agenda all his own.
Sometimes it helps, like when he called off his army and
Oh
let us
my
escape.
goodness.
But he was still a creep about it.
Well, it feels like he's only helping us because he wants something. I just don't know what.
Reckon we'll see him again?
Now, here's what's kind of interesting. You see behind us a couple of islands. You can see the entire kingdom of Lucis behind
His
us.
actions are motivated not by altruism.
Like over here on the right-hand side, you can see the King's Vacation Island.
Only condescension.
It's just off the coast of Golden Key, and then over here you have the Rock of Ravito,
I
which
think
is
you
pretty
think too
cool.
much.
The volcano.
Sometimes, but it's always preferable to the alternative.
So, soon you'll have your old man's ring back.
Yeah, when we arrive in Altissia.
Good thing. To him,
It's a great one. This chapter is going to make you want to play it, I bet.
Dad said.
I love
carrying a
this
royal
chapter.
line ain't a task to be taken lightly. For a small thing, that ring can sure weigh heavy. After he became king, I only ever saw his face in the
Big
paper.
turn.
Wait, weren't you at the coronation?
No, I was long gone from the city.
Must have been invited at least.
Had a fallen out of sorts with your old man. Right at the end of the trip.
Falling out.
I was given to understand you stayed in touch.
We buried the hatchet years later, but never talked face to face again. Should have paid a visit while I had the chance. Well, no use dwelling on it now.
No use dwelling on it now, but chat, we gotta dwell on that a little bit. So we remember that Regis went on a journey similar to Noctis, and in that journey, he had his Gladio, Ignis, and Prompto, and his Prompto was Cid. And it says that, and you can kind of tell this from Cid's accent. Cid is not from the Crown City. He's from outside it. And one of the things that we can kind of deduce in this game is that when Regis, probably because of his calling to Father Noctis, who would be the chosen Prince of Light, as we've heard him called over and over and over again, one of the things that we find here that I think is so cool is that it's not really cool because it's kind of heartbreaking, I guess, but it is a cool thing to figure out, is that when Regis created that wall barrier, well, Cid kind of has a bit of a political disagreement with him. Like, these are my people. I'm from outside the wall. And so this is something that we can kind of deduce. And so they have a bit of a falling out over what to do to protect Insomnia and what about the rest of Lucis. So what happens? But Cid goes to live in pretty much the closest place you can get to Insomnia without actually being in it. He still has concern for Regis, and it says that they bury the hatchet years later, but they never were able to talk. And so what do you think that Regis said to Cid? I like to think that Regis told Cid, I need you to help my son when it comes to be time. I like to think that. That's just a headcanon thing. Because you remember in chapter 1, when Noctis approaches Cid's garage and stuff, he's going to help him, but he's going to make him grow, and it's kind of Noctis' first trial. That's a great way, I think, of listening to this. So, they had a falling out, and this is where he kind of talks about it and stuff. Really neat stuff. Yeah, 15 is your favorite game. I'm so glad that you were in this. I hope that this is going to elevate your love of the game tonight. You've picked a good chapter to be in because this is gonna blow your mind, some of this stuff. So you're conflicted on 15 as a game. Yeah, I totally understand that. If I hadn't written a dissertation and spent so many years of my life teaching it, then I might also be conflicted. But I love it with my whole heart. So anyway, let's keep going. I could gush about it.
Got the regalia in the hole, but you're all gonna stay in Altissia for a good while, right?
Yes, we believe so.
In that case, I'll tune her up for y'all. Not that I'll have much to do, though. Well, with Cindy looking after the old girl.
If you say
Whoa.
she's good, she must be great.
She was never afraid of hard work. Heaven knows she had a hard childhood.
Backstory on Cindy.
Childhood.
He means her parents.
Lost them both when she was little. Was big enough to understand, though. And to hurt. But you wouldn't guess that, seeing her now.
Not at all. She's always so cheerful.
Well, that ought to tell you how far she's come.
Now, you must have seen your fair share.
But
of
ain't that the
Altissia by
truth,
now.
chat?
Yeah.
Like those that have the most
Only
conflicted
done
and
been
challenging past tend to have some really
Big old city.
We always kind of laugh at the, not laugh, but we kind of say that people with a troubled childhood have a strong sense of humor.
Seldom lend themselves to trite explanations.
Change of scenery ought to do you good.
Well, I'm all talked out. Can't be far to Altissia now, right?
We'll be there in no time. Nice having the wind at our backs.
Lodgings are our first order of business.
All work and no play?
Makes Ignis a dull boy.
Makes Ignis a dull boy.
You're welcome to sleep in the wild.
Ain't no hotel, but I know a fella has a place.
Hey now.
Wescombe ran with Reggie and me way back when.
All right, here we get Regis's Ignis. His name is Wescombe. He Sid says that Wescombe ran with Reggie and him way back when. So that's a big key thing, is letting us know that Regis's Crown's Guard is kind of all known now.
Oh, was he the other one in that photo at the garage?
Yep.
Yep. Runs himself a diner or cafe or something. Go and see for yourselves.
Sure. This is the place.
Yeah, Yarn, I agree.
Me or Magoo or Mago.
Mago.
Nice.
You
Also,
tell
like
the whole
Ignis,
West.
Wescombe also cooks.
He'll
How
chew
cool
your
is that?
ears off.
The government issued a statement promising that the reasons behind awakening the Hydrian would be clarified in
Look
the
at this
ceremonial
beautiful
address.
landscape.
Got a signal.
Delivering the address will be Lady Luna Freya, who was previously reported dead. This will mark her first public appearance since the violence that befell the signing ceremony.
Lady Luna Freya's gonna give a speech?
Sounds like it.
Lord knows. This world could use some wisdom.
Won't be much longer now, Noct.
It really does, doesn't it? It's so pretty, even now, almost 10 years later. This is one of my favorite sequences right here. Just this approach into Altissia. Look how gorgeous this is. Oh my gosh, I just love it. It really gets that like fantasy aspect. But I mean, look at it, you guys. It is stunning. The set pieces in this game are
have an entry
so
permit?
good.
Entry permit?
Relax. I got one. Here.
This game is almost
as
10
old
years
as
old,
they
isn't that
get.
crazy?
Seems in order. You may pass.
Prepared in advance.
Could
That's a
say
cool,
that.
that's a cool
30
symbol,
odd years ago.
Jedi.
That's what the guy meant.
No, not ads, goddess.
Lucky us, huh?
That could have ended badly.
Oh, thank you for the gift sub. Thank you, Kim. We got to enjoy this beautiful setting. Good old Venice. Oh, it's so pretty. Pretty, pretty.
Phew! Finally back on land.
Barely. They call it the walls of water. But it ain't just the walls. It's the whole damn city.
Which is why we can't traverse the town by conventional means. We'll need to rely on gondolas instead.
Yay!
Oh no.
Boats.
Hey,
Sorry, the
now,
pictures went out.
Catch.
That's on me. I pressed a button and the picture minimized and Streamlabs did not like. Oh boy, oh boy. Sorry about it. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. There we go. We are back in business. That's a professional Noctis moment, everybody. That's what we call that. That's what we call that. Okay, sorry. My entire screen just went nuts. I know. Pretty town to get lost in, and all of a sudden I was like, no more for you, you guys. We don't get to enjoy the pretty city. It does really remind me of Venice, too. It's such a pretty place. Okay. I think we are back in business. Mostly. Okay. Because I will get lost. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Key to the boat. What? Don't you want to go sailing again?
Are you sure?
So everybody, if you've
Why
never
not?
played the
Old
original
girl ought to be sturdy
first day
enough.
game,
Not even an awful driver like
you could not
Reggie
go
save her.
sailing in the boat again. This open world, open sea sort of
A
thing
king
came
can't
later.
Rule with wisdom alone. He needs perspective. So get out there and see the world, you hear?
You here? Hey Amy, how you doing? Sid's giving you the key. But we can't go sailing right now. Okay, let me remember all of the controls because I've been playing Rebirth so much. A one-day gondola tour takes in the major attractions at Altissia and includes a stop at our Arena Galviano, where you can try your hand at some Totemastro. Okay, that sounds fun.
What's next? Immigration?
What do you mean? There's still more?
Sir, what is the purpose of your visit?
Ignis. Ignis, he's smart. We'll use him.
Ignis, a little help?
Utterly hopeless. We are scholars of the culinary arts, and we've come to study the renowned cuisine of your fair nation.
Is that so? I wish you an enlightening
Yeah, you
stay.
did, tribe.
Another one you owe me.
Thanks, Iggy. Oh, we got this guy. Oh,
You
Sid.
want to check Wescom's place out?
Yeah, let's all go to Mago.
Perhaps we'll even make it in time for tea.
Sid's just straight up leaving
Better
us.
start looking now.
All right, everybody. If this is your first time in Altissia,
So, we're looking for the guy from the picture.
you'll notice that it is a lot like
Noct. You ever meet him?
Venice. It's such a beautiful place. I love it.
Got something to drink. You see this, Noct?
What about it?
Hey, Sid.
You're not staying at a hotel?
Fancy rooms were never my style.
Need food?
Where did you
Managed to
stay?
Stay fed all these years. Not gonna starve to death now.
Hmm.
And old Wes will see that I don't go thirsty either.
Bless.
Even better from a gondola.
Oh. Totemastro. The scorched earth comes to Altissia. Fight card, dual horns, saber tusks. Wow. So it's a
Whoa.
battle arena.
Pretty cool, huh?
How about the cap? They're extending the exhibit for Lady Lunafreya's wedding dress.
Oh, it's dress time.
Vivian Westwood? But wasn't that a memorial for her passing? Well, now it's a memorial for her safe return. Let's go see it while we still can.
Absolutely, let's.
Could that be the dress we read about in the papers?
Doubtless. The designer's name is the same.
A Vivian
check it out?
Westwood.
That depends on the groom. Might still be a sore spot. What with his wedding getting called off?
Who says we can't call it back on? It can still
I know,
happen.
right?
True enough. Let's keep an eye out for it.
Aw.
Shop till you drop.
Well, let's go see the Vivian Westwood dress.
So, what do you want to do?
Oh, but maybe we could buy a picture.
Any ideas for accommodation?
This is a terrible picture down here, you guys. Have you ever seen this?
Eat something?
It's just a guy like doing that grave thing where, you know, the guy that's like at the grave of his friend and he's going like this. That's what it looks like. What's up, Sub? How you doing, Sub? It is a Venice vacation tonight, baby. Okay, that was exciting. All right, let's get to it. We are off to Mago. Oh, no, first we got to go see the Vivian Westwood, don't we? Yeah, Sub, we move quick. We move quick around here. Because my students do not have an attention span. Okay, where are my quests? because we got to go see Symbol of the Peace. That's our first stop. Oh, wait. Go to map. And that is... Okay, so we'll just search for it, and that took you forever to get to this part. Yeah, I'm not doing hardly any of the side quests that don't pertain to...
Smartass.
That don't pertain to the class.
Care for a ride?
Absolutely we do. They are saying Mago. Mago. Mago is the name of this restaurant. Just 4 dudes hanging out in a gondola. When you were level 45, yeah, that's... Gondola! That should be a stream alert. I need to do that. The best part about a gondola is that you can just sail past people, and then you also like get to hear them. So you're eavesdropping actively, and then it's like deuces. Oh no, it's raining! We don't want it to rain. Listen, I get it. I get it. I got to a cool part in Rebirth last night, but again, we won't talk about it on stream. Not until we lecture play it. So I've never been to Venice, but I have been to I've been to a lot of places in Italy, but not to Venice. Rome and Pompeii, but we did not go to Venice. Crazy. I'd love to go someday. Aw, Tribe, thank you so much. Oh man, I love it, I love it. So I can tell you that I am, after I do my Rebirth lecture play, I'm going to be venturing out into some other video game genres and styles with the lore and lecture play and stuff. So, should be fun. I'm going to be looking at all kinds of different things. But
everyone is making for the shop.
I'll tell you one thing that does kind of catch my eye right now. Maybe it's because I help out with the middle schoolers at my church. Is that they've had some questions for me about the new season and battle pass in Fortnite, which is all about Greek myths. So if I can teach Greek mythology through Fortnite, I feel like that'll be my magnum opus. But looking at that, the Elden Ring stuff, DLC when that comes out, yeah, looking at some cool things. I think people have been asking me, DMing me, saying they would really love to do, they would love for me to do a Elden Ring major playthrough, lecture play.
Same street as the estate.
That'd be a fun one.
Seems we're on the right track.
I love Elden Ring. It's so good. Okay, so here we have a statue of a thing. A goddess as merciful as the sea is wide. May Leviathan long protect this land. Notice who says it. Idolus Aldercapt, Emperor of Niflheim. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, tribes. That's kind of the things. I am really trying to... So, Chad, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but one of the things that I really, really, really want is to be able to share some of these deeper academic things to elevate people's love for their games while also expanding their love for real world things. So if I can teach Greek mythology through Fortnite, then I will struggle stream. It'll be really fun to watch, I guarantee. But also, we're looking at all kinds of other games, and well, I'm not really taking any suggestions right now because I'm like overbooking myself, also having full-time jobs. But yeah.
Peace be unto the province.
How much of hitting my favorite points in 15 is just mess with me? Yeah, it's a lot. This is probably my 15th playthrough, full playthrough of Final Fantasy 15.
Let's head back to our room. Splendid. Where are we off to?
So I come up here because I want you to see this city because it's beautiful, right? You can kind of see just how massive it is. There's a Ferris wheel off in the distance. You see these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful waterfalls that come off the top of Altissia. This is where some of the high-end people live. And I just think it's so, so cool. But then you look down here and you see kind of where the common people live. Now, these common people are like rich AF. But over here, you've got the Colosseum. This is about as Italian, Venetian, Roman as you can possibly get. Hey, Lady Experiment, maybe I will help you like Fortnite the way I've helped people like Final Fantasy 15 more.
Is it evening already?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so, so glad that you found me, Tribe. That's awesome. We have a lot of fun on this stream. And that's honestly how I try to do my classes too. Like, it's pretty laid back. We try to have a good time. Now, people, class, if you're actually in the chat tonight, you can be like, no, he sucks. Whatever, but we try to make it fun. Oop. All right, we've got a fishing guide. Look for the large fish lurking in the shadows of the night lights. Legend of Zelda would be fun. Oh my gosh, there's some good lore in Zelda. In fact, I did. Real talk. When
with her outfit.
Well, yeah, that too. It's just I always had this impression that the.
Let me pause it for a second. When I was in high school, you guys, I did a brief lesson on Trinitarian theology and the three goddesses in The Legend of Zelda. There should be, like, it should have been writing on the wall that I would one day do things like this, right? Because, like, I remember doing that. It was like Trinitarian theology and explaining these different attributes of the divine according to the Legend of Zelda goddesses. Really, really cool. Courage and wisdom and power. Yeah, it was neat stuff, so. I've always kind of been a theology nerd and, like, just finding ways of expressing those things. It's fun. Yeah. What's up, Racy? Welcome. I'm so glad you're in here. I was worried that you weren't going to make it, but it's going to be good. Yeah.
Fire was filled with nothing but jerks.
Oh, yeah.
They spared no expense on the dress. I'm glad I caught it when I did. If the prince is...
The people have spoken.
Good to know the prince isn't completely forgotten.
Oh, look at this sweet little... A sweet treat stand. Galati Galeone. We recommend gelato made with fine wine from Valdoria. Oh my gosh, not for children or lightweights. Try our other sophisticated gelato flavors, not for the faint of, and for the faint of heart, fear not. We have enough flavors to please the pickiest of palates. Booze, apparently.
Eat something?
This man is dressed in the nines. Okay, let's find this Vivian Westwood. I think it's like right down here.
Excuse me, could you point us to the shop with Lady Lunafreya's dress?
Yes.
Just follow this road towards the Secretary's estate.
That's right.
And brace yourself for the insane crowds.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh,
Well,
shine.
I guess that's to be expected. Thank you.
She's a big deal.
Big?
She is a big
Think you mean
deal.
Huge?
You truly get the sense.
So,
That's a restaurant. I do want to show you all the sights over here, though. So we're not going straight to the places. This is a short chapter all in all, but I do want to show you some cool things. A lot of angel imagery here. Also, you can see the moon right above that spire over there, which is kind of cool. Oh, yeah. You should definitely play this game much more slowly than I am playing it, for sure. I'm speed running it to try to get to everything for the class. Again, it's a pretty intricate place all around here. Easy to get lost. Also, it's getting super dark. So I feel like I need to go to the inn first. I think that is why I I think that's why I am
I wonder.
not necessarily one of the critics of this game. I spent my first playthrough was an easy 175 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like
Okay,
all
let
in.
me think about this for a sec.
I've no doubt both of them.
I didn't see gaps in the story because I spent so much time in this game learning literally everything. Yeah, 175 for my first playthrough.
Any ideas for
Yeah.
accommodation?
Yeah, that's not an exaggeration at all, actually.
I just feel like there's no point in going into work anymore.
So I like that we're gonna.
You're overthinking it. Come on, let's go somewhere you're always welcome.
Yeah, Mago sounds nice.
Do you hear these guys? I just don't feel the point in going to work anymore. It's like I'm not welcome. So here we're going to read their pamphlet as they continue to eat their popcorn. Capital city of Accordo Protectorate, a league of towns located on an island south of the Lucian continent. Although technically under imperial control, the city is afforded considerable autonomy, enjoying political, economic, and religious freedom. That's important. So they are under imperial occupation, but they have autonomy. That's an important thing to think. Legend has it that the Leviathan sank beneath... could you move, Noctis? Good grief. Okay, come on, buddy. Okay, we're just gonna, do this for a second. Legend has it Leviathan sank beneath the Saluna Cascades and entered into a deep slumber after the War of the Astrals, which we don't really know much about War of the Astrals yet, but we will. For that reason, the sea goddess has come to be revered as the tutelary deity of the town. The Tide Mother's followers believe she takes many forms, fluid like the waves she controls, and have erected a number of statues in her various images. Okay. Let's grab this shiny. Debased banknote. Okay, then. Oh, there's flowers over here.
So someone caught the secretary.
This place does look really pretty at night, too. Alright, so now we come down here, and the Vivian Westwood should be, right down here. Yeah. It's, straight down here, and then on this little side road, I think. Oh, no, it's right here. Here it is.
One hell of a crowd.
And that's the dress. My word.
Vivian Westwood dress.
Everyone looks so happy. And it's all because of this one dress.
Yeah.
Real glad for you that Lady Lunafreya is safe and sound.
Well, that settles it. You gotta make it happen. Become a symbol of the peace. After we tie up all the loose ends, let's think about the ceremony.
A fine idea.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
So, chat, that's...
Rub shoulders with the Empire by choice. Everybody knows she wants independence. Maybe she can
We can zoom in on it really quick, but I would like to kind of talk about this dress for a second. Notice you've got the sill blossoms over here, the blue flowers. That's a symbol of Altissia, not Altissia, of Tenebrae. Ignis, I am looking at a dress. Could you move? Dude, move. But you can see this dress, I think it's really cool that they have referenced this as a symbol of the peace, right? And, when we talk about symbols of the peace, we have a number of symbols of the peace in the real world, right? Think of when somebody from the royal family in England gets married. We can remember the weddings of Kate, or what a journey that's on. That's not what this stream is about, right? But where is Kate Middleton? Or when Prince Harry got married, when Princess Diana got married, and you get these sort of symbols all the time in the real world, and I think it's really, really interesting. In the Old Testament, there's a really interesting treaty marriage. Now, you may remember that when sorry, let me pull up one thing. There was a division between the north and the south in Israel. You had Israel in the north, Judah in the south, and there were two kingships following. Let me stop their chatter. There was two kingships following Solomon. Okay, and there was one time, and I don't want to give away too much here, so I'm being intentionally a little bit vague because my students are currently like in a doing a project on this. But there are two. There's this one time when royals in the north and royals in the south created a treaty marriage between their two sides to try to bring peace to their rivalry, which I think is a really interesting sort of thing. And it does parallel in some ways. It's a marriage of convenience, and it's a marriage where they are able to secure some political things. I will say that it does end up being... we'll come back to it. Actually, I don't want to spoil it simply because my students are actively working on a project. But I will say that there are two kings or royals, wink wink, that you need to be aware of. Yeah, just think about that and how two royals were a treaty marriage. Okay. I can't give you all the answers. I can't. Anyway, symbol of the peace. And with that, let's go to Wescom's Bar Mago. Why don't you type in treaty marriage Old Testament king and queen, maybe? You could probably do that. Actually, I don't care if there. A lot of my students will probably read this or watch this as they prepare for their final exam. So let me just tell you the story really quick. I really debated doing it, but you know what? This is bonus points, right? So it comes from 2 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 10 through 23:21. Let me zoom in on myself a little bit real quick. That may have been too loud for you. I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix that. I'm going to try to eventually. But this is the story of Athaliah from beginning to end. Now, Athaliah was told to marry Jehoram, who is a king, and so her princessness was essentially, it was utilized to create a peace treaty between Israel and Judah. Eventually, her husband died, and there was a claim for the throne, and she ended up being, through her own coercion, she killed everybody that had a claim to the throne so that she could be queen, except for her son, who a priest went and kind of absconded with the kid and went and hid for several years. And so she becomes this great queen, but she's also this Grim Reaper kind of queen that kills everybody. But what's interesting about her is that when the priest who had taken the boy, when the boy comes of age, the priest starts a coup and makes a run on Athaliah, and he gathers some other priests and some militants, and they have a mutiny. They chase her up into the top tower, and they start they're threatening her life, and they're going to kill her because she's been such a terrible queen, kind of a rogue queen that has avoided the spotlight because she killed everybody, right? And she yells out, guards, guards, traitors, traitors, this is a mutiny. And there's no one to help her because she killed everybody that would have helped her, right? So it's a downfall of relationships. for Altissia the queen, which is interesting. Now I've paraphrased the story, intentionally leaving out some things, but if you're in my class, you should check out Altissia. Pretty neat stuff. We'll return to her in several chapters, so that's a preview. Thank you so much for the sub, Hoven. Thank you. Okay, let's see, and down we go. Now let's go to Mago. Satario Street. Oh, a shiny.
You know, we did struggle a bit without you.
Oh yeah?
Couldn't get the fire going.
You could have just cast a spell.
Kinda overkill, don't you think?
Hopeless.
Hopeless.
Next time I'll show you hacks how it's done.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Mago, and I think Mago is right here. On our way to see Wescombe now. I think we can skip this. But why would we? I mean, just look at this pretty night. How often do we get to be in Venice together? Yeah, Racy, the banter in this game is top tier. In combat, out of combat. I understand why they've nerfed it a little bit in Rebirth and certainly in 16. But because so much of the story is in those kind of banter sort of things. Lunafreya doesn't strike you as the queen that I described. No, she is not. She is not. A romantic ride through Venice with the whole class. Yeah. So it's just interesting, I think, because it's an interesting riff on that marriage treaty. Now, a lot of people complain that the relationship of Noctis to Lunafreya is not based on love. It is a marriage of convenience. But what I'll say, and I'll argue this in future chapters, in chapter 12 as well, specifically, that they love each other. It's just been a marriage and a relationship of distance. Maybe the best distant relationship in history. But that's why you got a magic dog that can share the journals.
Welcome to Cordo, lads. Sid mentioned you'd be dropping in. Wescombe Armor, as you've gathered. My word, you've grown, little prince.
Oh. Wescombe. This is Reggie's Ignis.
Is your maiden visit. Enjoying it so far? You doubtless have many questions, so ask away.
Oh,
this
goddess.
country is a part of the Empire, isn't it?
Oh, you're wary. I understand. But there's no need to jump at every shadow. Just be aware that the terms of our independence grant the Empire free reign to come and go as they please.
We'll bear that in mind.
It's admittedly a one-sided arrangement. Most everything we do requires Niflheim's permission. And they wouldn't knowingly permit the Oracle to appear before the public. How our government spun that is quite a mystery.
So much of this is all exposition, right? So I like, oh my gosh, I cannot even begin to say this. But like with every sentence that Wescombe says here, he is illuminating some of the political state of affairs, right? And so the first thing that's said is that Lunafreya is going to be giving a speech, but why is the Empire allowing that? How did their government, we'll meet their government momentarily, but how did their government convince the Empire to let that happen? So I want you to listen to these phrases that Wescombe is going to be sharing with Noctis about the Empire, about the Oracle, and about Leviathan, because this is good world building for us, and it helps us understand what's at stake here with Noctis and Luna, and certainly with the trial of Leviathan. Hey, what's up? Diet Cokehead, good name. Hi, how do you get your HP so high? So it's all about the equipment that you're using, and the uniforms or costumes, the attire choices that you have. Everything has HP boosts and stuff, in addition to leveling up and things like that. But the weapons that you use and the garments that you are wearing all affect your HP. So just min and max that sort of stuff. And meals, yeah. Let's start with the Empire.
So you see lots of nifs around here?
We do, sometimes even at my place. Theirs is a familiar presence, and the citizens don't think much of it. Though the High Commander did cause a stir when he showed up the other day.
Mavis.
So soon after they felled the Archaean.
Hey, thanks for the follow, bud.
His arrival fuels rumors that they will next come to Altissia. The Empire's not content ruling all the land. They want the heavens as well.
Hear that? The Empire's not content ruling the land. They want the heavens as well. And so, one of the things that we've talked about is that Niflheim is built on technology, and they're trying to build their technology to subvert the divine. It's like a subtle war with the gods. And so their goal is to fell or kill all of the gods. And they're taking credit for when Noctis overcomes the trials of Titan and Leviathan, and Rama. And that's why they're here. So Wescom kind of helps answer. Yes, there is an unofficial FF15 cookbook. I'll put it in the Discord, Racy. They do need to eat their Wheaties, don't they? Let's ask about the Oracle now.
You really think Luna will make an address?
If every recent radio broadcast is to be trusted,
Absolutely.
Where is Lady Lunafreya?
In the city somewhere. But no one has caught so much as a glimpse of her. The media has been conspicuous in its silence on the matter, which speaks volumes of government intervention. That certainly explained the rumors of disgruntled Imperial officers leaving the city.
And let's ask about Leviathan.
Has anything changed with Leviathan?
For now, it's business as usual at port. But word is the government will soon open the altar of the Tide Mother.
In preparation for the rite.
Ah, but on the other hand, they're scrambling to stockpile emergency provisions. This begs the question, if they're anticipating that the Hydrian will wreak havoc, why would they allow the rite to proceed? Well, if you need anything else, you know where to find me.
Thank you, Lore Master Wescom.
My dear Camille.
And look who it is.
I heard about your distinguished guests.
Ah, you've an ear for gossip.
My classes have oftentimes called her Hillary, and I can never get it out of my head. So, for our purposes, we'll call her Hillary. Fantasy Hillary Clinton.
Gentlemen, I won't waste your time. My name is Camellia Claustra.
First Secretary of the Accordo Protectorate.
You should know, we have Lady Lunafreya in our care. And the Empire demands we surrender her.
Hillary.
What? Yet I am loath to acquiesce unless we stand to profit. Hence I've come to discuss terms with the King of Lucis.
Wow.
If you've a mind to talk, come to my estate.
Now here's what I love about this. She's treating Noctis like a king, not a prince.
But I assure you,
this will be the first time that Noctis is going to be treated like a king.
Okay. At any rate, you must be weary from your
So we're going to get to see some negotiations.
I suggest you seek your beds for now and ponder matters anew in the morning.
Yeah, I think we'll do just that.
Here we go. All right, to bed. There's plenty of things that you can do here, but we are not going to do them. You can go and wait on tables there, like Final Fantasy 16.
I think I'll get something to drink.
Now, once we go see Chillery, we are definitely going to begin story-focused segments, all right? We're also going to be doing some major discussion of, oh, can we shop here? Nah. No need to shop. Major story discussion coming up, and I'm going to be pausing and breaking the flow of cutscenes several times so that... Oh, we're going straight through the wall! Oh my gosh, I have ruined everything! Oh no, we're going through walls! No, we are... Titanic! Titanic! We're going through walls! We...
Hey there.
No! Oh, we went shopping! We're going shopping! There's This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Noctis magic broke. Why are we just buying these? Iron shelf recipes? Yeah, we're going to buy that real quick. Okay. Okay, well, we had to get that recipe book. We had to get that recipe book.
What's up, Iggy?
I've come up with a new recipe.
Stop.
I can taste test for you.
Okay, can we go? Okay, we got to go sailing now. Oh my, and it's as though nothing has happened. We're just going to go. By God, anything goes in this game. It's like that. Turn this gondola around. There is a deal. That was incredible. And they're just like, that was incredible. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh lady. Chillery. I broke the game, you know? The power of the recipe is too good. Casual Tuesday for the gang. Y'all ever remember, y'all remember Happy Gilmore? There's a line in there that students don't understand today because but I say it all the time anyway. But Happy Gilmore, played by Adam Sandler, is trying to romance the female lead in that game, or in that movie. And she's like, we're just going to be friends and stuff. And he's like, yeah, okay. So then they go to an ice skating rink because he plays hockey, right? And then he has all the lights shut out. And then there's a spotlight. And then the song Endless Love comes on over the loudspeakers. And she goes, so we're just here as friends, huh? And he says, and this is the line that I always say, he says, what? Friends listen to Endless Love in the dark? I love that, and this reminds me of it. Friends ride gondolas in Venice in the dark. We are taking the longest route imaginable to this hotel. But now that we know that we're on the magic gondola, we could have just gone through the city. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, this guy. Okay, we're just looking around. That was glorious. That was one of the best game bugs that I've ever seen. That was good. I've never seen that one in all of my 15 times of playing this game.
It has been a pleasure.
What should I buy?
I don't know, but there's a great shop over in a gondola over there.
I'm getting a horse.
You're getting a horse?
Shop till you drop.
If you score this puck, I'll never talk to you again. Oh yeah, good one, Massey.
Tiana.
Ahead lies a future uncertain, yet sure is the astral memory, wherein the king may walk.
Through Umbra's power, you can now revisit past memories. Okay, now this is a weird thing, and I always have to explain it to my class, so I'll do the same and explain it to you as well. You will no longer, at least in the story, go back to the wide open world of chapters 1 through 8 once you're in chapter 9. But the way that you can go back is by petting this sweet dog, and it reminds you of simpler times when you're able to go ride in a convertible with your friends. And so I don't necessarily, like, my headcanon for this, and even here's what it says, you can revisit past memories. But I think that time that you're spending with Umbra is you remembering things from the first 8 chapters of the game. So he can be a time-traveling dog, Lady of the Rings, but at the same time, it's kind of in-game headcanon, kind of doing that, kind of reminding you of simpler times. So, and you can board the open seas. We're not going to do either of those things tonight, though. We are instead going to do a quick Betty bye.
Right here.
Ditto.
Yeah, it's like when I pet my Umbra, Daisy. It's like I remember, good times. My Daisy, my Umbra is asleep right behind me right now. I don't think you can see her on stream. Okay, let's look at some of these
This one's pretty
pictures.
good.
Oh, I woke her up.
I dig it too.
That's a pretty one. Oh, look at that one.
Maybe I can make a living out of this.
My Umbra and my red. I will keep both of those. There's Noctis and Sid. Oh, Iggy and Noct. Oh, and a blue haze. Oh, there's Carbuncle over on the right. See that, everybody? That's good. Love a good Carby pick. Fun story, if you haven't seen the Brotherhood anime on YouTube of Noctis and friends, Carbuncle plays a little bit of a role in that. Carbuncle is this little token of this kind of good luck charm spirit that was placed on Noctis's pillow while he was healing from a grievous injury when he was a little boy. So, okay, let's keep going. Oh, we'll save that selfie of them. They're sweet.
I swear half your photos are selfies.
Sorry, not sorry.
What's up, Chrono? How you doing? There's Gladdy. Oh, there's the dress. We got to do the dress. Wescom, we'll keep you too. Oh, Hillary. Let's do Hillary. Yeah, he is only in easy mode, but that's a pretty good selfie. Prompto's getting better at photography. He is only in easy mode, but he is in Brotherhood, as well as the
well, guess we need to go
the
talk
demo
to
for this game.
Yeah,
or one of the
like
demos.
we have any other option.
There's no telling how events will unfold. Let us prepare before making our way.
Yeah, she can sit tight a while.
He does show up in pictures no matter what. Yeah, he does. Okay, let's go to... I think we go here. I think this is it. But it may be further north. Okay. Okay, more gondola rides with the bros. Bros listen to Endless Love in the Dark. Oop, sorry. I know that I could skip this, but why would you, right? On this rainy Italian day. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Umbra. Do you want to see the people while we're on our gondola ride? Come here. Come here. I'm going to try to show you Daisy. Come here. Come here. Hop up. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, Daisy. Come on. Come here. Hop up. Come on. Get up. Come here. Oh, she wants up so bad, but she doesn't trust it. Come here. Come here. Do you want me to pick you up? Come on. Just enjoy the smooth sounds of the rain. Come here. Oh, I gotcha. Oh, no, I don't. Come here. Come here. Oh, there she is. She came straight up. There she is. There's my Umbra, everybody. Look. Look, Daisy. Do you see us? We're going through Italy right now. Isn't that the sweetest? That's my Umbra. What a sweet girl. No, Red is asleep on my bed. So, okay. Good girl, Daisy. Back down. Thank you. Okay, you go to sleep. Bye-bye. Okay, that was our brief intermission, everybody. Now, let's get down to business.
Man, who knew Cor was such a badass?
I'm just
everybody.
glad he's on our side.
Literally everybody knew that about Cor. Yeah, I thought that I needed to go further north. Here it is.
So what next?
She is my cute pup. Oh, I had a basset hound when I was younger. Her name was Abby. Now I have a sister-in-law named Abby.
Ceremony. I heard it on the radio. Oh, that poor Fleury family.
You must feel so limited by that prosthetic.
Well, I saw him myself, and you wouldn't believe it.
They're talking about
It was his real arm.
Ravis's arm. Okay, so everybody, this is where we're going to begin our straight-up story mode sort of stuff. Let's go. So Noctis is going to have kingly negotiations really quick. Once the negotiation begins, you will be unable to return to the city. Are you certain you wish to continue? Yes. Let's do it, everybody. Hold on to your kingly pants. So I'm going to let you guys pick these choices. I'm going to try to pause it while there's a timer.
Thank you for coming.
The negotiation is about to begin with First Secretary Claustra or Hillary. Engage her in a manner befitting a king and strive to win her trust and cooperation. So we're going to see. If I can't do the timer thing, then I'll just pick myself. But we're going to see if you will do it. So the goal is for Noctis to come off as a king and to get Camellia, Hillary, to negotiate in a ways that we are agreeable to. Okay?
No sweat. First things first.
First things first. No sweat. Shall we express gratitude, probe knowledge, or pry into private affairs? All up to you, chat. I get the first one. It's a king interview. I'll take the first one I see. Express gratitude. Let's do it. Probe knowledge.
Thanks for coming to greet us in person.
It's the least I could do for a king. Wescombe didn't extend me an invitation, so I decided to extend my own. Though circumstances have changed, both the king and the oracle are finally in Altissia.
You said that you have Luna in your care.
The Empire demands that Luna be handed over. Shall we show concern for Accordo, doubt Luna's security, or demand to see Luna? What do you think? What shall we do? Dun 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 da 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 da. Okay, I see show concern. Let's start showing concern. I feel like Steve Harvey.
Doesn't that pose a risk to your nation?
Is the king concerned for our relations with the Empire? But it's true. The Oracle is a risk, one we are prepared to shed with. Whether we do so depends on you.
Good answer, good answer.
Now let me ask some questions of my own. Why does the Oracle seek to awaken the Hydrian?
Okay. Why does the Oracle seek to awaken the Hydrian? That's Leviathan. Shall we be truthful? Shall we answer vaguely or tell her nothing? Answer vaguely. Let's be smart. Okay, I saw vaguely first.
She just wants to talk with Leviathan.
She would wake a slumbering goddess just to have a chat? Somehow I doubt the Tide Mother will take kindly to being roused on a mortal whim. Let me be frank. The potential chaos worries me. You know better than most what took place in Lucis with the Archean. Tell me, what happened?
What happened? Shall we be truthful or shall we be cheeky? I see truthful and truth. That may have been for the last one. But I'm going to say truthful. Let's be truthful. Cheeky is not going to go well.
I met Titan, and he gave me his power.
Just like the legends. Though the Empire doesn't like the way the story goes.
Feeling
Even
mischievous.
as we speak, they mobilize their forces. It seems there's no avoiding chaos. It will most likely come to war. However, I don't care to host a battle on my soil. The gods and the Empire be damned.
Okay, so shall we allude to a common enemy, show concern for the city, or be realistic? What do you think? What do you think? Chaos is the best. Come on, Hillary. We're going to be realistic.
Not much you can do when it comes to gods.
You'd suggest I accept my city's destruction?
There's a limit to what we can protect, so shall we be positive, be pragmatic, or withhold comment? Oh. What you think? It's a tough one, right? Realistic. Be pragmatic. Okay, let's be pragmatic. Yeah.
Gotta choose what you want to protect.
I wasn't expecting you to say that. Perhaps you're not as unthinking as I first thought. Without further ado, let us talk terms.
All right, thank
If you wish to
Pragmatic.
hold the right, you must ensure my citizens' safety and aid in their
A
evacuation.
lot of pragmatists in here. Okay, so she wants us to evacuate her people. Shall we agree to help evacuate, suggest further measures, or feign apathy? I like that. Feign apathy. Agree to help. You got it.
All right. I'll do as you ask.
I'm pleased to hear it.
Me too,
As long
Hillary.
as the people's safety is assured, I have no qualms with your right.
Hmm.
And that is not all. Once the rite has begun, I will not be accountable for what follows. You are on your own.
Hmm. She expects us to deal with the Empire by ourselves. Shall we act displeased? Shall we act confident? Or shall we be worried? What do you think? Hmm. It's interesting because, like, it does. Displeased. I saw displeased first. Let's do it.
You're basically telling us to fight the Empire alone.
In a manner of speaking, but to rephrase it from our perspective, Accordo has no troops that can aid you. Not amid such chaos at any rate. That is all for the terms.
Yeah.
To review, you are to ensure our citizens' safety and engage the Empire. Do we have an agreement?
Shall we act amicably, act casually, accept casually, or respond pompously? What shall we do? Amicably, casually, pompously. Accept casually. It's a casual Tuesday. Racy.
We'll help however we can.
Lest you forget, this is a business deal. A flippant attitude will earn you a flippant response. A final warning, though I doubt it'll come to it. My duty is to my citizens. Should any harm befall them, there will be a reckoning. For both king and oracle.
So, her duty is to her citizens. Shall we empathize with her position? Shall we return the threat, or shall we remain silent? Tricky, tricky. This is going well. Return the threat. Okay, Massey, you've got it. Let's go.
There'll be a reckoning for you, too.
The leader must know when to bring out the steel. Surely you understand.
Me too. I know too, Hillary. Shall we show understanding? Shall we put up a strong front? Or shall we brush the subject aside and ask, where is Kate Middleton? What shall we do? What shall we do? Show understanding. I'm seeing understanding. Okay.
Yeah. I think I get it.
Yet getting is not the same as accepting.
Where is Kate Middleton?
Still so young, and still so much to learn.
Madam, it's time.
Assign 3 of your own for the evacuation effort. Whom you choose is up to you.
It's like we're
According
just
to our intel,
feeling her
the
out.
fleet will be 4 warships
Was that too strong? I'll soften.
Steel yourselves for a full-scale battle. I have confidence you will do well by us, and you can expect the same in return.
Noctis made a positive impression on the first secretary, which is shocking because I'm surprised she didn't throw something out. Throw something at us. Oh boy, oh boy. It didn't feel like we made a good impression. We're playing mind games. We are. We really are with her. She's like, they are the worst.
I can't promise something I can't help.
Of course. You certainly opened up to them, though.
We are. We're learning how to be a
What can
king.
I say? I have a soft spot for the young and tragic.
Oh. I have a soft spot for the young.
They've
and-
lost Regis.
It is.
They've lost the crystal. Was it so long ago the last oracle was taken from them?
Luna's mom.
We've seen the Empire go mad these 10-odd years.
The day of the right. Here we go. So before we go into this next part, I've got to talk a little bit. Well, first a gondola ride. But shall we? To Kamala, yeah. Or Camilla, excuse me.
Harass Leviathan.
They don't change the outcomes, no.
Before the king receives her power.
But you do get different
Three of us on
rewards.
evacuation detail.
Indeed. The best we can realistically do is to help the Hydrian help herself.
What kind of help you talking about?
Just like Titan, the Empire will seek to immobilize Leviathan.
Oh, with the harpoon things?
If we can dislodge them from the goddess, she will have a fighting chance.
Sounds good in theory, but don't push it.
Don't push it.
It's pointless, unless you can get that blessing.
Stay flexible, stay alert.
All right, will do.
And off we go. There's the big Ferris wheel. And there is the monument to Leviathan there as well. Kind of cool. Oh, there's the waterfalls. All right, so we're about to learn a ton about Lunafreya.
If worse comes to worse, you can threaten to throw the trident into the sea. Then they'll listen. In the meantime, it will be well guarded. Better than the Oracle herself.
Understood. I shall reclaim it at the altar.
Remember, you'll be under Imperial watch.
Right.
Think of it as a necessary evil in order to forge the Covenant.
I am in your debt.
Once it's over, you may go as you please. But you do so without our protection.
So be it.
You'd better get going. Your public is waiting for you.
All right, I want to stop right there because I need to give you a little bit of background on some things. This is an interesting negotiation that Camellia Claustra is giving to Luna, or a word of warning. It is the role of the Oracle to not only go into towns and cities and to bless the people, as we've seen her heal people in the past. Remember when she held the man's head and absorbed his star scourge with the yellow golden aura around him, absorbing that sickness from him, kind of a understanding of sin. But it is also the role of the Oracle to make great Oracle pronouncements, right? And so this is a perfect analog to two entities or two roles in the ancient Near Eastern context of religion, and also, especially for our purposes, the Old Testament. Those two roles are priest and prophet. As a priest, Luna is going to be the one that is that go-between intermediary, the one that is going to touch the one who is filled with sin and then touch something divine or sacred and transmute to some degrees or transfer that sin onto something else, right? Number one. They're going to do that. They serve as this go-between and this person that in a lot of ways is that intermediary agent of sacrifice for people. So that's a really important thing to remember. That's one of the roles of priests. Priests also will go in to the, quote, Holy of Holies to do some significant prayer and intercession. In fact, I want to read a couple of passages that come from the book of Exodus, and then a little bit later the book of Deuteronomy. We'll go there. But one of the things that would happen is that these priests, and it began really with Moses, who is both kind of a judge, a priest, precursor to a king. He would go into this Holy of Holies, and he would speak to God as one would speak face to face. People would oftentimes say that Moses had a life with God, a prayer life with God, that nobody else seemed to have. In fact, some days he would come down from a mountain or even from the Holy of Holy places in their tent or tabernacle, and they would ask him to place a veil over his face so that he did not have, his face was so blinding to people. Hey, thank you for the gift sub, by the way. And so there's this intermediation, there's this mediation between the divine and humanity. Does that make sense, everybody? That's the priest sort of role. The prophet role is an extension of that priest role, but it comes into play more when kings rise. Now, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but the role of prophet emerges out of the ancient Near Eastern context. Whereas in Egypt, you had a god king, Pharaoh was god, and king, all in one. That evolved into priest king, where God, the king or the royal serves as this intermediary, not quite divine, but also a little bit better than human. This is where the term Son of God comes into play, whereas the king who sits the throne is a son of God. However, they are also what's known as a son of man. They are the representative of God and the representation of humanity, and in them they are a priest king. Does that make sense? Kind of an interesting sort of thing. The final thing, after when Israel came to be, and the Israelites are moving around, they say, we need a king. They've had all these judges. They say, we want an actual king. Well, they have a distribution of power, an accountability system that's separated into kings for ruling and prophets who are going to do three things to be accountable to the king. Okay? The prophet serves three roles. Number one, the prophet is going to legitimize the king's appointment. Meaning they're going to anoint the king with oil, and that's going to say this one is blessed and anointed by God, and it legitimizes their kingship. All right? That's the first thing. You can't be a king if a prophet or a bloodline through a prophet hasn't made you so. So the way I would say it is this. If you are not from a royal family, you need a prophet to anoint you. If you're from a royal family, then the blessing or the anointing from the first king of your family, it stands to you. So the blessing can be inherited, but if it jumps family lines, then that's kind of where we are. Hey, Wolf Daisy, what's up? It's been a while. And thank you for the gift sub. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so... Oh, man, we've got a few gift subs in here. Thank you, Wise Tribe. Thank you. Oh, man, great stuff. Hope you're all doing well tonight. Hope you're all doing well. So, that's one of the big things that I'm trying to say here. The kings and the prophets. So, the first thing is the prophets are meant to legitimize the king's appointment. That's role number one. If you're taking notes, and if you're in my class going toward a final exam later, these are things to remember. Number two, the second role of a prophet is to be the king's conscience and counsel. The king's conscience and counsel. A king that has a bad relationship with the prophet is probably going to be a bad king. Even more than a king's ignis or advisor, this is their spiritual advisor. So they go to the prophet to hear, and this is the third role, the word of the Lord. The prophet legitimizes the king. Number two, it's going to advise the king and serve as the king's conscience and counsel. And number three, maybe most importantly, is going to discern and share the word of God. And that brings us to what we're about to see. Prophets in the Old Testament would give forth these great oracles. Now, it's important to note, those three roles, none of them are about telling the future, right? Prophets, at least in this context, do not tell the future. It's kind of like, I don't tell the future to my students when I say to them, if you don't study, you'll fail the test. That's not really a prediction. That's a spoiler, right? That's one of those things. If you don't do this, it's not going to go well for you. If you do this, it is going to go well for you. That's a big distinction. Prophets are the same way. They offer a warning. And so when they would stand up to speak, they're speaking specifically to the king, but they're also speaking to all the people. In fact, when you go into the Old Testament, if you've got a Bible, you can look through all the prophetic books. These prophetic books were oftentimes delivered as speeches, grand orations to massive amounts of people, but it was for the purpose of advising the king. Prophets are essentially just wise. They're wise, but it's more than that. It's spiritual wisdom. Okay? There's 3 parts of every speech that a prophet gives. My bet is that you could probably identify this. So smart that they can predict the future, yeah. But you can probably identify these 3 parts of speech in any good speech that is out there, right? Here's the 3 parts, and then we're going to listen to Luna's speech, and I want you to listen for these 3 parts. The first part of a prophet's speech is an assessment of the current reality. It's the assessment of the current reality. This is where we are. This is how we got here. This is everything that's gone wrong to lead to this moment. Or this is all the good stuff that happened that led to this moment. The prophets let us know where we are. It's the assessment of the current reality. But then they move into one of 2 things. It's all about the future, but it's either a hope for the future or a warning for the future. This all happens in that second segment, okay? So assess the current reality, then we're going to talk about the future. What's coming? Should we be afraid? Should we have hope? Whatever it is. And then finally, number 3, a prophet is going to give a call to action. A call to action. This is what you need to do now. Okay? Very much like a State of the Union. You can read these things in Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech. You can read it in the Gettysburg Address. You can read it in great speeches throughout histories. But these are interesting things. Why strive? That's really interesting. And the question would be, is it one of these kind of prophets, or like that is accompanied by a king, or is it the kind of truth, future-seeing prophet? That's an interesting thing. So as we watch this in a moment, I want you to notice a couple of things. What are those 3 parts of speech, and how is Luna living into those 3 roles of a prophet? Are we there? Okay, without further ado, let's watch this speech. Then we're going to do some fun stuff. And now notice that the Empire is sending in guards to Luna. They are watching her to make sure she doesn't say anything that goes against them. Yeah? At gunpoint, they are controlling the prophet because they know that Noctis is there. And the words that she says aren't just for the people, but they're for Noctis. That's really interesting, right? Gotta find a king. Yeah. Waving the gun out of her face, bold. I mean, that's queen behavior, right? Queen Luna. Now, I'm going to stop right here for a second. Look at this crowd, right? This is what I want you to think of when we think of the words of a prophet, right? They aren't just speaking to a king, and they're not just writing, but they are speaking to great groups of people. But those messages are oftentimes just meant for a king. Now, I want you to notice how Luna is speaking to her king, Noctis.
Noct, you in position?
Yep.
Don't forget the plan.
You guys too?
Of course.
Remember, they haven't seen each other in 12 years.
Talk about a crowd. Like the whole city's come to watch.
Dear friends, I stand before you today with little hope the words I speak shall reach beyond these walls. For slowly but surely the light fades from our world, and as it does, the shadows shall loom ever longer until all succumbs to the darkness. Darkness that evokes terror, hatred, and sorrow in the hearts of men. The ashes of Lucis. A dream of peace, twisted into a nightmare of death and destruction, claiming innumerable lives and leaving myriad souls to suffer.
Luna.
Yet I beg you, do not surrender to despair. Have faith, for our gods watch over us. By their blessings, by the stars that light the heavens above, our world will be delivered from the perils of the dark. I stand before you here in Altissia to call upon Leviathan, goddess of the seas, spirit of the deep. By the sacred rite, I will commune with the Hydrian. But first, I offer you my solemn vow. On my honor as Oracle, I will not rest until the darkness is banished from our world and the light is restored. Bless you all.
Bless you all. Okay, we're going to stop there for a second. I've got a simple question for you. Where did you see the 3 parts of a prophetic speech in her speech? And just as a reminder, assessment of the current reality, hope and warning of the future, hope or warning of the future, and then finally a call to action. She plays with that one a little bit, but it's interesting stuff. So, where did you see it in some of the things that she said? And you don't have to get the words exactly right, but just what was she talking about? Curious what you would say to it. I think it's such an interesting speech, and it perfectly follows that framework and paradigm. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, what you think? Light fading from the world? Yeah, that's the assessment of the current reality. Yes. Things are bad. It's going to get dark, but don't lose hope. That's good. That's good. Yeah. It's going to get bad. Gods will deliver us from peril. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So tell me about the call to action. What is the call to action? Yeah. Don't lose hope. What is it's going to get loud. Yeah. The call to action, interestingly, for her is to summon Leviathan. The call to action, their role is to not lose hope. Her role is the call to action. I will call upon the Leviathan, the Hydrian, and things will come. So here's what I want to do. This is so cheesy what I'm about to do. I totally understand that, but I do it in my class every single year, and I would be remiss if I did not do it for you as well. I'm going to read the final farewell of Samuel to the people after he has anointed Saul king. This is his final prophetic kind of voice to the people. And so one of the things that I want to do here is I want to read through this, but I want you to look at this scene with Luna here. And I want you to kind of imagine what it would have been like for for Samuel to speak these words to a people in a venue like this, okay? Because I think that the parallels are just amazing. And because we've got to get into that mindset, I'm going to play the same song, okay? And so that's just going to be in the background as I'm reading 1 Samuel chapter 12. I'm going to be reading from the NIV. Here's what it says. So get in your headspace, just kind of look out over the crowd, think about Luna speaking these words, and now think about Samuel speaking to the Israelites. Here's what it says. After Jacob entered Egypt, they cried to the Lord for help, and the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your ancestors out of Egypt and settled them in this place. But they forgot the Lord their God, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies. They cried out to the Lord, and they said, "We've sinned. We've forsaken the Lord and served other gods. But deliver us from the hand of our enemies, and we'll serve you." So the Lord raised up judges, and he delivered you into the hands of your enemies all around you, so that you lived in safety. But when you saw that new enemies were moving against you, you said to me, "No, we want a king to rule over us." even though the Lord your God was your king. So now here is the king that you've chosen, the one that you've asked for. See, the Lord has set a king over you, and if you fear the Lord and serve and obey him and don't rebel against his commands, if both you and the king who reigns over you follow him, good. But if you do not obey the Lord, if you rebel against his commands, his hands will be against you. So now stand still and see this thing that the Lord is about to do. I will call upon the Lord to send thunder and rain, and you will realize what an evil thing you did in asking God for a king. And so Samuel called on the Lord, and that same day the Lord sent thunder and rain, and the people stood in awe of the Lord and of Samuel. Pray to the Lord your God for your servants, for we have added to all of our sins this sin of asking for a king. And Samuel said, do not be afraid. You have done this. Yet don't turn away from the Lord, but serve him with all your heart. For the sake of his great name, the Lord will not reject his people, because the Lord is pleased to make you his own. Now, with that in mind, how does it change the way that we think about 1 Samuel chapter 12? How does it change the way that we feel this emotion of this moment? Yeah, I've done it for several years at this point. So, but how does it enhance? Because I can read that same thing without this moment, and it just feels different, right? Obeying God equals living in harmony with the nature of reality and the cycle of life and death. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I try to do in my classes is I try to help them see, okay, this is definitely how we should be reading the prophets of the Old Testament. We should be reading these things as these great emotional orations that are divine pronouncements, and how kings are given wisdom here, and how people are given hope when people reject God and they try to defy destiny. Yeah, an interesting sort of idea there as well. Hard to relate to people in history because you weren't there, and emotions often taken out of it. Yeah, for the sake of preserving facts. This is why I like to do it, because I want us to put ourselves in the shoes of those that came before us, and this is what they would have been feeling. So, okay, we can certainly talk more about that, but what I want to do now, we're going to move actually to the summoning. Now, I saw in the chat some people had some questions about what is the symbolism of the summoning. What's the symbolism of the summoning? That's a great question. And so one of the things that I would like to say here is that if the prophet is meant to legitimize the king's appointment, then part of this is how is Luna legitimizing Noctis's appointment in this summoning? If he is to be blessed by God or anointed by the gods, then she is securing a test. Now, in the book of Isaiah, it says, a voice of one calling out in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord, make straight his paths in the desert, right? And so the role of a prophet is to essentially prepare the way, roll out the red carpet for the king to be announced and to reign. And Luna is going to each of these gods, first to Titan, then to Rama, now to Leviathan, to prepare the way for Noctis. These are really, really important things here in order for Noctis to fully ascend. This is also his being anointed into responsibility, because ultimately we have an ascension story that's 4 parts. It's the trials of a king, which we've already done a lot, the relationships of a king, which we've been talking about, but then you're anointed into responsibility. This is a divine anointing where Noctis looks at Talcott, and says, Jared's death was on me. I'm responsible now. I'm responsible for what happened here. Same as how David looked at the only remaining priest of Nob, whose grandfather had been killed, as well as his entire town. And David said, it's because of me that your town of Nob was destroyed. So stay with me, and I'm taking responsibility for you. Responsibility is the third piece. But it also ultimately leads to that 4th part of the ascension story. And the 4th part of the ascension story is delivering order to chaos. And the only way to bring order to chaos, at least in the ancient Near Eastern framework, is to embody the attributes of the gods and bring their power to chaos, to bring it to order. We talked about 6 attributes of God that are at play in this game. We've already talked a little bit about creation with Titan and the protection of creation. We've talked about provision with Rama. In a moment, we're going to talk about what power is Leviathan testing and giving to Noctis. So, okay, time out for a second. Does that all make sense? Are we hanging in there? I know this is a lot of lecture stuff going on today, but it pays off by the end, I promise. Is it the Sephiroth? No. It is actually not the Sephiroth. But that's a good question. That's a good question. The Sephiroth is one way of thinking about it. That's more in Final Fantasy VII. So here, the 6 attributes would be creation or creator. It's provision. It's justice, wrath. It's compassion. It's sorrow, regret. And we'll talk about that in future weeks as well. Okay? So those are the 6 attributes. You could say holiness, but I think holiness can be injected into any of those things. You can say righteousness. Righteousness can also be injected, but these 6 are kind of distinct enough from one another that I think that there's some interesting things that we could do. Okay, so let's keep going with the game, and we'll pause for more lectures in a moment because there's still more to go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Knocked. The Empire's here.
I can see him.
Dropships are closing in on the board. Look for a vantage point to approach them.
Okay, look after the citizens.
We got them covered. So, it begins.
So it begins. Now, do you remember how I said that Moses and priests would speak to God as one speaks to another human face to face? Here, Luna is coming face to face with the god Leviathan. I want you to listen to the personality of Leviathan and begin to ask, what of those 6 traits that I asked, that I described, what does Leviathan represent? Worship with a song. Interesting. What fool mortal dares break the slumber of the tide?
Luna Freya, blood of the oracle. Goddess of the seas, I beseech you, enter into this covenant that the king might reclaim the stone.
So she's praying for Noctis to be worthy, and he has to be tested in order to be proven worthy. Whoa, here we go. This wretched pile of bone and flesh, ignorant of what that which governs all, comes to requisition the might of a goddess.
I do.
Ooh.
The Hydra has awoken.
Civilians?
Almost there. We'll join you when we're done.
All right, so Massey, you're saying wrath? I think that's good. We'll talk more.
Then the right's already begun.
Most likely.
Time to lend the Hydrian a hand.
All right, let's do this. Not me playing this like Rebirth. Whoa, I had the wrong sword on. Yikes. There we go. Oh, don't shock me! Oh yeah, this battle music is so good. Bam! Let's go. I love how in this segment you can see what's happening outside the window. Kind of neat. Nice, Noctis. Warp Strike or die. Warp Strike is so cool, right? And the phase dodge, I love that too. All right. Oh, there it is. What does a lowly ephemeral speck know of all creation? Oh man, you're really getting a sense of who Leviathan is here, right? Right?
I know what you must know. That the King of Kings is to drive the darkness from our stomach.
Listen to these words here. This lets us know. Blasphemous ingrates, all men, quick to forget the ages their goddess stood watch.
It is in receiving mercy that men offer praise, and in shedding grace that the gods solicit worship.
Yet this profane speck speaks her king heresies before a goddess, insufferable sacrilege. Oof. Okay, we're going to stop there for a second because as this is happening, there's something that I want us to share here. I'm going to be reading specifically from 2 different passages in the Old Testament. 2 passages that I think are incredibly pertinent here. The first comes from Genesis chapter 6. In Genesis chapter 6, we have the flood narrative. And so with Leviathan, who is on the verge of causing a number of big floods, it's important for us to remember what caused the flood. And so the world had become very violent, all this kind of stuff. And then it says that God looks at all of creation, and it says that God regretted that he had made humanity. God regretted that he had made humanity. And so he was going to set a flood loose. Okay? So we go to chapter 6 of Genesis. And it says this: God saw that all the earth was corrupt, all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth. Now, that corruption means it's a distortion, a perversion of that which was originally intended. You with me? And so, it says, I will blot out all from the earth, all human beings I've created, people together with animals, creeping things, birds of the air, for I am sorry and I regret that I have made them. Now, that word regret is not typically used for God in many theological traditions. And yet in Genesis 6 and then in another passage in 1 Samuel, it says that God regrets 2 specific decisions that he had made. Number 1, creating humanity. Number 2 is, hey, listen, Massey, it is okay if you did. Just be careful of spoilers, no spoilers. But that's why it's your first time in. Don't you worry for a second about that. Okay, you're still welcome. All that kind of stuff. Don't be hard on yourself or anything. So number 2. It happens when God does not, when God regrets that he had ever made Solomon king. Okay, that's a really important thing. Now, sorrow and regret, these are attributes of the divine that are based in, I wish that you were different than what you have become. I had better plans for you than this. So be better, right? And so that's one of the first, this is the first time that we see God having this regret. Ultimately, God tells Noah, build a boat, build an ark, set out in safety. And then this is one of the coolest parts of this story. I may have shared this with you before. Noah comes out on the other side of it, and what's the sign? It's the rainbow. It's the rainbow. And what is the rainbow in ancient Near Eastern concept? So you can imagine a giant bow going sky to sky all the way in the sky. Now, you and I may look at a rainbow and we might see all kinds of things like diversity, or we might see harmony or equality or something like that. But in the ancient Near Eastern context, they're looking at it and they're seeing it as an actual literal bow. And why is this the symbol? Well, the symbol for this is so cool. Notice that the rainbow is pointed, arrow up, toward the divine. From now on, God is saying, I will see this rainbow and I will remember that instead of bringing down wrath or punishment on humanity, I'm turning it on myself. So God risks the breaking of God's own heart for the purpose of creating safety for humanity. He's willing to allow people to continue in their free will at the risk of his own heart and his own worship. Now, that does lead to regret, which is kind of a sorrow-filled sort of thing. Here, in this particular scene, Luna reminds Leviathan, she says, he will, talking about Noctis, he will ascend. He is the one. I know what you must know, that the King of Light must stand and purge the darkness, right? She's reminding Leviathan of who he is. Isn't that a really interesting thing? There's another passage that I want to read very, very briefly, and it comes from Exodus chapter 32. Moses is up on the mountain with God. They're having one of their long, drawn-out conversations, and God says this, "Go down at once. Your people whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt have acted perversely," meaning they've perverted what God originally intended. Are you with me? "They've been quick to turn aside from the way that I commanded them. They've cast for themselves an image of a calf. They've worshipped it. They've sacrificed to it. And they said, 'These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt.' And God said to Moses, 'I've seen how this people are, how stiff-necked they are. Now leave me alone so that my wrath may burn hot against them and I may consume them. And of you I will make a great nation.'" Now, isn't that interesting? So God's like, let's do it again. Noah 2.0. We're going to obliterate these suckers. But then Moses, listen to this. This is so cool. Moses implores God and says, "O Lord, why does your wrath burn hot against your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say," remember they were brought out of Egypt, "it was with an evil intent that he brought them out to kill them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce wrath and change your mind and don't bring disaster on your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, Israel, and the servants, and your servants, how you swore to them by your own self, saying to them, I will multiply their descendants, I'll give them a land." Yes. And then it says, "And the Lord changed his mind about the disaster that he planned to bring on his people." Now, Moses obliterated them as well. But here's what I would like to say to you about this. Here's two passages. Noah, where God's regret is going to sink and flood the whole earth. Number two, Moses comes face to face with God and God changes his mind from wrath over the community to, "You're right. I'm going to be true to myself." Listen to Luna's words here. How do we catch a sense of regret or sorrow over what humanity has become in Leviathan? And how do we see Luna becoming a Moses figure that changes Leviathan's mind? Let's continue, shall we? Lots of lectures tonight, huh?
I vow, the king will prove himself worthy.
"If not, the feeding shall begin, and it shall not end till every last speck is devoured. So let the covenant be forged." "Heaven and earth, high and deep, birth and return."
about you guys?
We'll wait below.
All right.
Room for two. Not jump!
What?
So Luna has secured that Leviathan is going to test Noctis. And here's the test. It's a good one. So the question is, how will Leviathan test Noctis?
New ride we borrowed from the Nymphs. This will get us in close. Serious? Here she comes. I got this.
Whoa!
But it's up to you. All right.
This is so cool.
Hey, nice job finding this baby.
The moment I saw her, I knew we'd go places. Not again.
Not making this easy.
Not. Hold on tight.
Oh, I missed that one. Boo. There we go.
Can you reach?
Leviathan. Request her power or demand her power, chat? What do you want to do? Demand it. Yeah, let's go.
Hey, your power! Give it up!
Your power! Give it up! Shall we adopt a reasonable tone or maintain a commanding tone, everybody? Your power! Give it up! Maintain a commanding tone. Okay. I said what I said.
I'm the king!
Don't you understand? I'm the king. So it's going to make us adopt a reasonable tone. Don't you understand? I'm the king.
I need your power!
I need your power. Let's go. The trial of Leviathan. So, what is the trial of Leviathan is the question.
So the only way you'll help me is if I take you down?
It's your funeral. You are big though, girl. Where you at? Where you at? Woo! Where's she at? There she is. Let's go. Ah! All right, chat. Here we go. It is called Hadrian's Wrath, yeah.
Now, about that ring. On second thought, you let him have it. And do remind him about the crystal.
Oh, Prince, your bride awaits!
So this is huge, right? Arden stabs Luna, and I'm going to talk briefly about this really quick because I don't want to miss this moment. Arden stabs Luna in front of Noctis. Arden even says, "Oh, Prince, your bride awaits," to make sure that he knows. So what is the trial that is at stake here? It could be wrath, but if we're to take the regret narrative, and if we're to take what's happening with Noctis right now, seeing this, I think that it's regret. I think it's sorrow. It's this sense of like, it doesn't have to be like this, right? And so it's really, really, really important to kind of say this moment. So why does Arden stab Luna? Why does Arden do this? That's the lingering question that we'll get to in several chapters. But let's continue.
I will pass the ring to the rightful king.
Listen to this. This is huge, y'all. Huge. Notice what she does.
When the prophecy is fulfilled, all enthralled to darkness shall know peace.
She is absorbing whatever evil is inside of him. She is trying to save Arden here. She senses the hatred and the anger inside of him. And so just like she healed that man as an oracle, she is trying to do this with Arden. And this is so huge. She says, all in thrall of darkness shall know peace. Now listen to what Arden says next. Oh, so good. It like flashes across his mind, maybe I should, and then doesn't. Ah.
How sweet. But please, Lady Luna Freya. You first.
Essentially, you'll know peace before I do, Luna. Ah! So the question then is, what happens to a king without a prophet? Can he be anointed? Can he be legitimized without a prophet? And the answer is no. And so, watch what Luna does here. Ah! Watch this. This is so good. So we get to see all of these scenes of the tombs, all of the former kings, and the legitimization of Noctis comes from the power and the authority of all of the former kings who here give him the power of kings. He is the one that repudiates and enhances the failures, fulfilling where they had all fallen. This is a powerful, powerful moment because he is the inheritor of the legacy of kings here. And now we get to see the power of kings in him. Notice the music. We've got Apocalypsis Noctis. It's called Apocalypsis Aquarius here, but still, this is the revealing of Noctis. Anytime this motif plays, we know that we are revealing Noctis. It's so sick, right? So good. And he's just blasting all of these swords and arms of the Lucii at Leviathan. It's just amazing stuff. Just a wild, wild battle. I love it. And it's so cinematic too. It's so cool. Cue awesome boss fight, yes. Oh, there we go. Break off her wing. And so this becomes a battle of sorrow, a battle of regret. It's testing and it's assimilating into Noctis the divine attribute of sadness, sorrow, and regret. In the same way in the New Testament, you see that Jesus wept. Here we're seeing that this king must have this sense of empathy, sorrow, and regret as well. Gosh, so good. There we go. All right. Yeah, I heard this live one time and it was incredible. Bam! Through him. It's just such a cool fight. It's a spectacle if nothing else. Like, I love it. There we go. Up and away he goes. In the seas. There we go. Whoa! Where you at, Leviathan? Just the walls of water all around us. Ah, how cool is this? You got these tempests of water. Oh my gosh, I love this fight! Yes, he does. I mean, it's perfect theodicy, right? Theodicy. It's the questioning of the divine, and yet at the same time, it's the empathy with the divine in some ways. Broke that off. That's a great point, yeah. Yeah! There we go. Come on. Huh. Oh gosh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Go, go, go! Got him. Epic, so epic. With the trident, Luna's weapon, so good. Symbolizing the power of the Oracle here. Wow. Wow. Amazing, right? Just powerful, amazing stuff. Filet. Oh my gosh, so good. Now notice it took it out of him, and so watch Luna here.
Blessed stars of life and light.
So she's healing him. Now this scene is incredible here. Watch this. What happens? God, what a symbol this is. Just here, there's a tension between the gods. You've got Leviathan, you've got Titan. And when we think of these divine attributes, oh man, so many cool things here. If Titan is the aspect of creation and Leviathan is regret and sorrow, then Titan is reminding Leviathan of a reason to hope in Noctis. Again, just amazing stuff, right? Oh, God, brilliant scene. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, and here we go. Maybe my favorite scene in the game. Second favorite.
Noctis? Luna? So, you found your way here.
And you found me.
A chance to see you once more. Who would have thought?
Well, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you see me?
Because my prayers have been answered. My calling fulfilled.
But that doesn't have to come between us.
You are the one, Noctis. The stars shine for you now. That which is yours by right shall be restored to you. Do you remember the flowers of Tenebrae? It seems so long ago. You'll find they await you still, blooming from hill to vale.
Will you be there?
Would that I could join you. But this moment will have to be enough.
It's not right. All I wanted was to save you.
When the world falls down around you and hope is lost. When you find yourself alone amid a lightless place. Look to the distance. Know that I am there. And that I watch over you always. Farewell, dear Noctis.
Then he grows up, right? I mean, and receives the ring. Oh my gosh. So good. Ah.
Back with us. I'll tell the others. Though it may take a bit. You're hurt. Ah, small sacrifice in the greater battle.
And Luna?
She has passed. Umbra left that for you.
And them helping Ignis. Just a heartbreaking chapter. And beautiful and painful and all of the things. And it changes the course of the rest of the game. It does, and you can kind of see, I mean, we remember all the fun times that we had, 2 pictures of Gladio. You've got Leviathan here and Noctis hanging on his eyelid, but ultimately, like, it's just pain. Let's come in here again. So chat, like, a few takeaways here. I mean, I've kind of talked all through this, but I hope that you understand prophets a little bit better than you did. When a prophet dies, the sorrow of the king is overwhelming, because it's kind of this question of, I was legitimized by that prophet, so am I still legitimate? There's a question of, how am I going to hear God now that the prophet is gone? There's a question of, what do I do? Who's going to advise me now that the prophet is gone? This is why David went into mourning when he heard of Samuel's death. This is why it's a big deal when a prophet dies, because it feels as though the king is lost. Now, yes, there will be another prophet that rises. David eventually got Nathan, but it is incredibly, incredibly painful for them. And it should be, or at least for good kings, it is. The additional thing with this one is that the king and the prophet are in love, right? And so they're really trying to build onto that relationship a little bit more, that there's a deeper connection between these two. Remember, Gentiana says it's heartening that the king and the oracle, the young prince and the oracle, have such familiarity. And I think that that is a key piece of this whole puzzle. So the trial of Leviathan, we've talked about prophets, we've talked about the roles of the prophets, the parts of the speech of the prophet. Hopefully you've got a better understanding of that. But I'm a big contender that Leviathan is the god of sorrow and regret. And the reason that I say that is, number one, number one, it is a thing of regret because of Leviathan's regret of humanity. Like, this king is just like every other speck, kind of a disdain for humanity, and Luna convinces him otherwise, or convinces her otherwise. But it's also a trial of regret because of what Arden does. It's not enough, at least for Arden, for Noctis to be tested just as like, can you beat Leviathan? You've got to feel it. So if this is the god of sorrow and regret, then I'm going to do something that's going to cause that sorrow and regret. And we're going to see how you might deal with it. So this is the big chapter that kind of reveals that Arden's a bad guy, by the way. If you didn't get that from the stabbing, then there's not really going to be much of a redemption arc for Arden in light of that. We're going to learn more about Arden for sure, but he kind of leaves that liminal space that we talked about last time, and he's firmly in the I killed Luna camp. But the question is why? Why did he do that? Why has he been trying to help Noctis? He gave him entryway into Titan's quarters. He gave him he took away his car so he couldn't leave in the rain, so that he could be tested by Rama. And here he is making sure that Leviathan's lesson of sorrow is learned, right? By Noctis, to the point that he stabs her, and then he says, "Oh, Prince, your bride awaits," right? And so my class and you, if you've never played through the rest of this game, you may be wondering why. And that's the question we're supposed to be asking. What is his end game in all this? And we're not going to get to that for several more chapters. But in the end, here tonight, we have a little bit more clarity. Now, the final thing that I want to say tonight comes from a lecture play that we did a couple weeks ago, where we talked about the dream sequence that Noctis had. And I showed you the full dream sequence. That was a trailer, but the things in it are canon. In there, Noctis feels as though he is losing his power. Every time he holds on to a royal glaive, it disappears. It's as though his question is, am I worthy of this stuff? This happens hot on the heels of Jared's death, his father's death, Claris, Gladio's dad's death, Insomnia and its ruin. And the question is, am I letting everyone down? And in the and then the voice in the trailer is Luna saying, as the King of Light, you will purge the darkness. And he says, Noctis says, I think I can do it. And Luna says, as Oracle, I'll see to it. I know you can. And so there's this fear that he's going to disappoint and fail Luna. And here, excuse me, he's feeling that even more, right? Am I failing Luna? Will I live up to everything that she sacrificed to be here in this moment? And so that's big, right? That's a big sort of task for us in all of this. It's a heavy burden to carry if you're Noctis. And yet it's one that we're going to deal with. I could just hear the fury in his voice the first time he showed up. It felt like he was amused by how little they knew. Yeah. I would say that part of the trial is that stabbing, and that Arden is ensuring that Noctis understands the trial. It's not enough to just be stronger than sorrow. You almost have to embrace it in some ways. The final scene the second to final scene, when Titan stands up to Leviathan, we are going. Would he feel responsible for Ignis's death if that were to happen? Yeah, probably. He would feel he would feel responsible for anything that happens. His injuries, for his blindness, for all of that stuff. And so that's an important thing as well. It doesn't matter who would potentially die at this point in the game. If Ignis had died instead of Luna, if Gladio had died, but because it's Luna, that's an even bigger connection. The connection to the divine is much, much bigger. Yeah. No worries. I actually knew what you were talking about. I thought you meant to type death instead, but it's definitely his injuries and stuff. And we'll get into his injuries next time. We'll see what that toll costs. Noctis and the group in chapter 10 as well. There was a question earlier, I didn't get to it. Somebody asked, are we doing episode Ignis next? No, we're not doing episode Ignis next. We will do episode Ignis after chapter 13, because there's some revelations that happen after chapter 13 that enable us to go back and play Ignis. So we'll do that after chapter 13. So next up is going to be chapter 10. We're going to get to that, but unfortunately, we are not going to do that on Thursday. The reason is I am going to PAX East up in Boston. I'm going to be checking out the Final Fantasy 16 panel as well as the Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. And that's good stuff. I'll be able to share some of those things with you. I'm not sure what the content's going to be, but I'll share some of those cool things with you. For sure. Well, everybody, we've been going for a while. I thought this was going to be a shorter chapter, but it ended up being a pretty long one, probably because of my talking and stuff. I'm going to go hoarse by the end of the night. I need a lozenge or something. In any case, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much for the sub. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I've enjoyed it. I love talking about this stuff. And Racy, what I'll say is that every chapter from here on out is going to have something like this. Not like a death, but like this level of power-packed theology, biblical allusion, all that kind of stuff. We're getting into the meat of this class now. So really, really good. And with that, I'm going to call it a night. So everybody have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all later. Have a wonderful evening, and walk tall, my friends. So long. Bye-bye.